Are you looking to make that move to St. Pete? Then you'll want to check out this video that discusses the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and what it's really like to live in St. Pete. As always, if this is your first time to the channel, subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the very first to know everything there is to know about the Tampa Bay market and all the things to do in the St. Pete and Tampa area. My name is Alyssa, and every day I get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make their move. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me that email. I would absolutely love to talk to you. Let's get to it. All right, so one of the best pros for the area, of course, is the beach for St. Pete. So I'm actually just outside the St. Pete area. This is Reddington Beach. There's a whole host of beaches for you to enjoy. So that to me is one of the very best pros for St. Pete is they have beautiful miles of that white sand beaches, and there's absolutely a ton of beaches to choose from. So whether you're in the suburbs of Terra Verde, Paso Grill, St. Pete Beach, you have Madeira, you have Reddington, Indian Rocks, Indian Shores, Clearwater Beach, Honeymoon Island further up, Fort DeSoto. So just a whole range of beaches to choose from. We have over 30 miles of coast of the beautiful white sand. So you'll want to come check out the beach if you're here or if you move here. And if you're an outdoor person, there's plenty to do. So if you love to swim, if you love to kayak, there's always the beaches. There's also Whedon Island in St. Pete and Sunken Gardens. St. Pete is also home to the Pinellas Trail, so if you like cycling. Now, one of the cons of the city is it is really a car city. There are areas like the downtown in Kenwood that are highly walkable, but overall, you're gonna need a car to get around. So I would say that is a con, especially to some people, but there are areas of those bike trails, so you can get around on a bicycle, but it's not a bike-friendly city like some of the cities on the West Coast. So if you're looking for that, that might be a little disappointing, but you can always make your way around on a bike. So that's another con would be really the lack of a mass transit system. There is the Sunrunner and the trolley system that can take you out to the beach. The trolley does run around a little bit in the downtown area, and there is a bus system. But as far as a metro system or something like that, like a lot of metro areas, St. Pete does not have, and Tampa does not have a metro system. So that's definitely a con. Now, when you're talking about the weather, that can be a pro and a con depending on what you like to do. So days like today, it's a beautiful sunshiny day, so that weather's pretty perfect. The months go on in the summer, it can get very hot, very humid. So to me, that's a con because it can get so hot and humid. And then of course, it turns into rainy season, or monsoon season as I like to call it. So in the summer, you will have those days where it gets very stormy, especially in the afternoons. That's during hurricane season. Hurricane season starts in the beginning of June and runs till the end of September-ish time frame. The good news, and definitely a pro, is that out of all the areas, St. Pete has not been hit, thankfully, knock on wood, since the 1940s with a direct hit for a hurricane. So you are in a good location as far as St. Pete, because it doesn't normally. They usually spin out and go further south, or they go up to the Panhandle area by Panama City. So thankfully, St. Pete so far has missed a lot of the hurricanes. Now that does bring up another con. Insurance has become an issue here in the area. So that's going to be insurance for a couple of areas. That's going to be your homeowner's insurance. That has gone up dramatically, and less insurers are providing homeowners insurance. So you'll need to definitely check that out. You can always get homeowners insurance, but you're going to pay more in Florida for that. And there's less providers because more people, because of the hurricane risk, are pulling out of Florida. Also because of a roofing issue, a lot of the providers are going to want to see a roof that's 10 years old or less. So that is something to think about when you're going through your inspections. If it is an older roof, you might want to renegotiate that in the inspection period because insurers are going to see a newer roof. So that's definitely something to consider. Also, in certain areas, you're going to want flood insurance. Now, flood insurance is always a good idea no matter where you live in the Tampa area, but there's some areas where it's actually required. And so flood insurance is also going up dramatically. So you'll need to remember the cost of homeowners insurance and flood insurance. Now, one of the best pros for St. Pete specifically is that it is a great cultural center. They have a lot of performing arts. So you have the Mahaffey Center where they'll do plays and off-Broadway type shows and concerts there, so that's really great. They also have the Dali Museum, so Salvador Dali has that. They have the Fine Arts Museum, they have the Chuli Collection, and also the Holocaust Museum. So they keep on adding a lot of museums and just the overall eclectic vibe. There's definitely some wall art around the city, so it's definitely a diverse area and definitely an artsy feel to the city, so that's really fun. As far as entertainment, St. Pete is great because you're really central, so you can go into Tampa for events, or you can go push over to Clearwater, and St. Pete is always offering events as well. There's tons of festivals that happen year-round in St. Pete, whether that's the Blues Festival, stuff celebrating MLK, holidays like Shamrock Fest. There's a Tall Ships one that comes every year. IndyCar series comes into St. Pete, so that's a huge draw. So there's always all kinds of events and festivals, especially down in the downtown St. Pete area and the Pier area. So you'll want to check that out. Also, as far as entertainment, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Rowdies are actually on the St. Pete side. So they both have stadiums in St. Pete. So if you're a sports person, definitely check out the Rays and the Rowdies. And then if you hop over to the Tampa side, they have the Bucks, the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is the football team, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is their hockey team. If you love the NBA, you can always pop up to Orlando. Orlando's about an hour and a half out. You can see the NBA up there, or you can always go to Miami for that as well. And then as far as theme parks, you can hop over to Tampa and go to Busch Gardens. It has a great selection of roller coasters for the Tampa area, and it also has a great zoo-like feel because they have a lot of the wild exotic animals like tigers, leopards, they have kangaroos, all kinds of stuff like that, so you can go on a little safari. There's like zoo areas, so that's great for kids, so they do have the kids area. And like I said, everyone that visits wants to know, hey, how far away is Mickey? So about an hour and a half away, you can hop up to Disney, Universal, and check that out. And of course, you always have the beaches, so tons to do for entertainment wise. If you're looking for great restaurants in the area, then you'll definitely want to head downtown. There's always new restaurants popping up, and that's always a cool thing to do. Just check out some of that, or you can always hop over to Tampa or Clearwater to check out others. There's even some areas that have restaurants by the waterfront, so you can get that beautiful waterfront view as you enjoy your food, so that's always great. If you're looking for the nightlife, St. Pete is the younger, more vibrant city. It has more of a hipster feel to it now in the downtown area, so a lot of young people like to go out and about in the downtown nightlife. You can also hop over to Tampa as well for that, so always tons to do there. But the biggest draw is, like I said, this beautiful area here, full of the white sand and beautiful water. You also have your kayaking, so those are really the pluses. As far as cost of living, St. Pete and Tampa are pretty much equal. There's certain things where Tampa's going to be a little bit higher, and then there's certain things that St. Pete is a little bit higher on. So really overall, I would say the cost of living is about equal for St. Pete versus Tampa. So those are something that you want to know. Now, a lot of the homes are a little bit older, but have been remodeled in St. Pete. So if you're looking for that brand new home, they do have some new construction, but a lot of it is older. A lot of them were built in the 20s and 30s, and then you have some in the 60s, 70s. There are some definitely built in the 2000s, but you'll see that as far as styles of homes. They have a wide variety of homes. They're definitely known for Key West style, down by the beach. You also have your bungalows and you have your historic properties in some of the historic districts. So a lot of variety as far as different types of properties. Hey, so another pro for living in St. Pete is there are so many beautiful areas. But if you love waterfront or lake view areas, then St. Pete is definitely a great location. There are multiple areas in the city that have that great waterfront view for the beaches, but there's also little lakes like the lake behind me. So that's always a plus. Now, one of the cons would be you're always going to pay a premium for that waterfront or lakefront view. So just keep that in mind. But the beachfront, Gulf views are always going to be more than even a lake view. And you'll also have to keep in mind there are some pests in Florida that might be different than other areas. So especially when considering areas like this lake. So the beaches are great to swim in, pools are great to swim in, but if there's a lake and it's not clearly marked, you do not want to swim in it. You might even see a sign like this one. It says, do not feed or molest the gators. And so you have to keep that in mind, especially if you have kids or small pets. Whenever you live by a lake, just think that is a possibility. You never know. I've never seen any alligators over in this area here, but that could be an area that has an alligator. So keep that in mind, especially if you have kids, and don't swim in any lakes that aren't clearly marked because it probably does have an alligator in it. So that's definitely a con. Speaking of pests, there's also mosquitoes that can be a problem, especially in the evening. So you'll want that bug spray. Now, if you like to shop local, then St. Pete has quite a few little shops, especially in the downtown area, that you can do as far as major shopping. It has plenty of your Publix, it has your Whole Foods, your Trader Joe's, all of that. As far as food, if you're talking regular clothing shopping, it does have some small boutiques and everything. It does have Tyrone Mall, but if you're talking like a regular mall or more upscale shopping, you'll want to hop over the bridge over to Tampa. Tampa has some really great malls. Or further up I-4, there's some outlet malls. So when you're talking regular or designer type shopping, as far as clothing, you'll probably want to head over to Tampa. But St. Pete has everything like that as far as regular small boutiques, and as far as like any of your household goods. It has your Targets, any of the things that major metro areas will have. St. Pete has that. So you're in good hands as far as that goes. Usually the commute isn't too bad. You will have to take that in consideration if you live in St. Pete and work in Tampa, just because the commute can be a little bit during rush hour, so you'll need to plan a little ahead for that. But overall, traffic isn't bad, but there are certain times of the day that it can get backed up as far as traffic, especially on major thoroughfares like 4th Street, crossing any of the bridges like 275, Gandy Bridge. It can get really backed up and traffic can get really heavy during those rush hour times. So Gulf Boulevard, going out by the beaches, any of those can get backed up. And that leads me to say this about tourists or snowbirds. Some people say that's a plus because they pump up the economy, and I know they're spending money here and we like to see them here, but some people take it as a con because it does add to the traffic and things like that during that time season. So those are things to consider as far as that goes. But as far as transportation, you're good for that. So those are some of the major pros and cons for the area, but that's about all. So that wraps up really the major pros and cons of the area. So I would love to hear from you. So send me that text, shoot me that email. The descriptions are all in the links below. And welcome home. You're gonna love making St. Pete and the Tampa Bay area your home. And I can't wait to hear from you.